The irony paradox of acting. I've already said this, but I'm going to say it in a clear way, hopefully. The irony of acting. If you don't, should I start negative or positive? Let's start negative. If you don't know yourself that well, let's start positive. This is much more positive. If you know yourself really well, like you really are self-aware. You know that you can be petty, and you know what makes you you love classical music. You're not into hip-hop. I like quiet walks. I'm a romantic dreamer. I'm irresponsible. I don't pay my parking tickets. I'm a child of a schizophrenic. Like you know yourself, and you don't judge it, positive or negative. You just acknowledge this is who I am. If you really, really know yourself, then when you approach the work you're acting, which we're going to do in a second, you can then become character. Because you'll understand the character's relationships, actions, objectives, consequences. You'll understand the character's underlying truth or counterpoint. You'll understand the character's origins of being, their bias and psychology. You'll understand the character because you understand yours. And then therefore you can play theirs. So the irony of acting is the more you know, the more knowledgeable you are of yourself, the less of you you're going to force to impose on the character. The more you know yourself, the more you can lose yourself into character. The irony is, the less you know about yourself, the less you are aware, the more blocked you are, the more in denial you are, the more you refuse to be that person, the more you don't like you want to be somebody else, the less in control you are, the less knowledgeable you are, then the less able you are to actually become character. Because you don't know what it's like to have a life objective, because you don't know what those relationships are, because you are not in tune with your own personal background psychology, so how could you be characters? So the less you know about yourself, the more you're going to impose of what you think you are on top of the character. The irony of acting is the more authoritative you are of yourself, the less you will impose on a character. It's easier to become character. The less you know about yourself, the more ego is going to be enforced on top of the character. And you see it all the time in acting. The paradox beyond that is, ready for this? You guys, you tell me if you don't follow, but I think you will. The more you know about yourself, the more authenticated you are, the more, your Denzel Washington is a cat who understands himself. He knows himself. He's aware of himself. He has what the Greeks called gnoste sumptum, which is self-knowledge, which is really, in the end, if you're going to memorize anything, gnoste sumptum, walk away, that's all you need to know about acting. It's Socratean. Self-knowledge is the key. A life that is unexamined is a life not worth living. Socrates. Epicurus actually pushed it further, but it's self-knowledge. Gnoste sumptum is the key to everything. The more you know about yourself, ironically, the less you'll impose on the character, ego-wise. The paradox of that is then, the more your true essence of who you are will shine inside of that character, and the audience will know the truth of who you really are. So you look at Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe knows himself, so he loses himself into Gladiator or whatever it is, and ironically we go, fuck, I know that guy. I can see who he really is. Who really is, not who he wants to be or thinks he is, who he really is. The paradox of acting is the less you know about yourself, the more you're going to impose on top of the character of who you think you are, which means you're actually going to shut yourself off, and the less your true essence will show. And the audience will go, I don't get him. I don't get that guy. Which is why, when the true actors are really doing their work, they're actually exposing themselves constantly to you, because they're exposing their true essence of their self-identity. And when you meet them, you guys met them? Like I've had the great privilege of doing 2 movies with Robin Williams and spending time with him. But when you first meet Robin Williams, you go, "'Cause I know you. Like I know him. Because you do know him. I've known him from Mork through Garp all the way to 1 Hour Photo. Like I know everything about the essence of this guy. So when you meet him, it's like seeing your long-lost father or something, because you know this essence of this person. He, of course, has no idea who I am, so it's kind of creepy. Back off, freako. Do you understand? And sometimes there are actors, when you watch them work, and they're trying to impose this idea of who they are, and so then you start going, I don't get them. So the job of the actor is to show up in the audition room or on set or on stage and fully be, and then lose themselves in a character so that we can see who they really are.